Do you hate emails as much as it seems like most people do? On this episode, we're going to talk about how to write a great email that people love to receive. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Word Made Digital Tutorials. I'm your host, Joanne Fleur, and on these tutorials, week after week, we're bringing you content to help you practically with the work you're doing as churches and charities in Canada. Why? Because we think you have the best news in the world, so we want to help you be the best communicators in the world, and that includes dreaded emails. So thank you so much to our partners and our sponsors at Compassion Canada and the Canadian Centre for Christian Charities who are making these videos possible, who they believe in you and they want to support you as the local church and Christian leaders in our nation and beyond with these kinds of videos and this kind of content. So we're going to talk today about emails, dreaded emails, and how to make them emails that people love to receive. Tip number 1, make good use of the subject line. If you're starting the email, you want to think about questions and ways to draw people into what you're talking about through the subject line. Make them want to open the email because you've asked them a question, you've engaged in something cheeky or a problem that they're trying to solve, whatever you can do to get them to click and open the email. Now, if also you're receiving an email as a response and there's a bunch of like forward and a bunch of noise in the top, do what you can do to clean that up so that the next person who receives it has something a little bit clearer. If you're not sure what kinds of subject lines pull people in or which ones might work better in your community, something you can do is a simple A/B test with your subject lines. You can send out the email to 2 different groups with a different subject line and see which one gets more clicks, gets more opens, gets more engagement. Now, related to that, tip number 2. You want to send emails using something where you can actually see who's opening it and how they're opening it. Now, what I often use is something right in MailChimp. I don't know if you're familiar with that, or there's tons of services out there that provide email optics and also help you create a beautiful email. But the best thing that they do for you is they help you understand who's reading your email, how many times they opened it, what they're clicking on, and things like that. So it helps you understand if your email is being effective to the people that you're trying to reach. There's nothing worse than sending an email and having no idea if it got to the person or if they opened and viewed it. And you begin to see over time through this kind of service how much you're improving over time. So with that said, going back to the subject line, with these programs, what you can do with something like MailChimp or similar services is go in and do an A/B test of subject lines. So send the exact same email, but with a different subject line to 2 different groups of people. Split the group in half and see which one gets a higher open rate or which one gets a higher level of engagement. Then you begin to learn through your own community what actually works. It's kind of a fun experiment, and you can use your own emails as a test lab to learn how to engage better with what your community loves to receive. Tip number 3, you want to keep your message as clean and clear as possible. Even if you're using something like MailChimp or another service that you have the possibility of creating beautiful emails with photos and videos and all kinds of colors and integrations built in, that is something great, but what it often looks like then is an email from a company. It looks like an advertisement. One of the most effective kinds of emails you can send is plain black and white text. Why? Because it's easy to skim through, but it also feels like it's coming from a friend and not just a big corporate company or a big ministry organization. It starts to feel more personal. So the next tip after that I want to tell you is make sure that you're sending emails from a person, not just an organization. That's another A/B test you can do actually to see if you send the same email saying that it's coming from your organization versus the same email saying it's coming from the name of an actual person on your team. It's amazing what it does to make emails feel more personal, more connected, and like you actually care about them, like it is really a relationship between you and the people that you're speaking to in your church or in your community. We want to make sure that if we can, if it makes sense to send an email from a person, from Joanna, not from Word Made Digital. It makes a huge difference in people feeling connected. Tip number 5. I want you to make your emails as clear and brief as possible, and a way that you can do that is by using bullet notes and numbering systems. I'm going to send you a few samples down below so you can click and see some sample emails that I've sent that people have loved to receive from me and have been highly effective because I've made something quick that they can skim on their phone. When you're sending an email, you want to think about the place that they're probably going to be reading it. It's going to be maybe on the go, it's going to be maybe on a phone screen, it's going to be maybe while they're doing 1,000 other things and not expecting an email from you. So the clearer, more concise, and more simple that you can make it through bullet points, numbering, and formatting is a way that people are going to quickly be able to get to the point that you're trying to make and be able to respond quickly to you as well. Tip number 6, check your tone. Read the email again before you send it out. Does it sound like how you want it to sound? Sometimes we don't realize that our tone can sound sarcastic when we didn't mean it to, or can sound more angry than we meant it to, or even sound actually happier than we meant it to. We want to be clear about the kind of tone we're trying to create. And in line with that, think about how many exclamation marks you're using in your emails. I encourage you to use more periods at the end of sentences than exclamation marks. It looks more professional and less frantic. Last tip for you, tip number 7, is don't over communicate by email. As we've already talked about with having strategy in our subject lines and having bullet points and numbering and thinking about sending it not just from an organization but from a person, it's all about trying to get them to connect with you and connect with your email. But sometimes emails are not the best way to do that. If you have more to say, maybe you want to do it in a different way. Maybe you want to link to a video, or maybe you want to link to a podcast, or maybe this is a conversation you need to have live and in person if you're able, with the people that you're trying to communicate with. Sometimes email is not the best way to get a message across, but it's a great way to set up the meeting where then you can communicate in person. I hope these 7 tips for writing a better email that people love to receive has been helpful to you. What are your best tips for writing emails? What kind of emails do you love to write? What kind of emails do you love to receive? Which ones are you more likely to open? Pay attention to that, but also comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much to the partners and sponsors that make these WordMade digital tutorials possible week after week. We're coming at you with this content because we love to serve the local church. Compassion Canada has all kinds of opportunities of how you can serve in the church around the world at this time of year. You can go to compassion.ca/gifts, and there's all kinds of ways that you can give a gift that's really unique and creative at this time of year. Maybe you want to give chickens, or you want to give a well, or you want to give school supplies. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can give, but check out compassion.ca/gifts for more info for the people on your Christmas shopping list. Thanks also, of course, to Canadian Centre for Christian Charities, whose 3,300 members are equipped across the country with all kinds of resources in HR and legal help and board governance and all kinds of things that are maybe not on your own staff team, but you do need tools and resources for. That's what they are there for, to partner alongside the ministry that you do best with the skills that they have to support you in that ministry. So we'd love you to check out the links below to what they're all about. If you're already a member, it's that time of year where membership renews. But if you're not yet a member, why don't you check out what membership is all about and how they can support you as a Christian charity in Canada. Thanks everyone for watching these videos. If you like them, hit the like. I would love you to subscribe because we have new videos coming out week after week to help you practically. Let us know what kinds of content you want us to create or what questions you have, and we'll create that kind of tutorial video for you. We want to answer the questions that you actually have. Meanwhile, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff, and we will see you on next week's video.